Welcome again, everyone. Jerry's Old Guy Review, and it's another rainy day. So I was going to make a video today doing the TRX4 or the TRX6 versus the UMG 6x6. But being that it's pouring rain, I didn't think that would be very exciting for a comparo of the two rigs outside. Rocks are soaking wet. Could have been okay. Don't know. So I was tinkering in the shop. I was tinkering on the UMG 6x6. And I started looking around. Because I was doing a little cleanup in the workshop. And you know what I realized is at some point, I have become an FMS rock hobby fanboy. About 50%, I'm going to tell you. So, I started with the Kubelwagen, which is right here. I'm going to use a handy dandy pointing implement today. Here's the Kubelwagen. And then, simultaneously, I got the Atlas and the Atlas 6x6. Well, those two, the Kubelwagen, I'm going to tell you, I threw a little, it's gray, I threw a little camo paint on it to make it look a little weathered. Ooh. Darkened it up a little bit. I throw a couple of action figures in there. It's 110 scale. It can run with, let's see if my pointer works, with the HG 802. 803 is above it. What else is there 112 scale? Oh, and then there's the 602. So a lot of the trail action I have out back is for those trucks. Now, the Kubelwagen is the perfect scale because I've got some, I think they're 5-inch action figures that fit in all the HG models. And they also fit in the Kubelwagen. I just like saying it. Now, that's a Rock Hobbies, so it's an unlicensed Kubelwagen. Just like the Atlas are also Rock Hobby, but it's generic. So some of them sometimes have the FMS label on them. But now, thanks to Troca RC, there's a Michigan sitting here. And that is going to get its own video because I've been dying to get a Michigan. But instead, I bought the FCX 10. Now, my point with FMS is this is a low dollar option that I still think is fabulous because let the interwebs get all up in arms. Buying a $500 or $600 rig and instantly replacing the electronics, the radio, is ridiculous. But buying a $300 rig, $400, $300, and then replacing all the electronics so that you get to, say, $500, I think that makes a lot more sense. So if you want to build, if you've got that kind of money, I don't. I did it one time. And let's see if we can get it right there. The SCX 10.3 Gladiator, $500. That's probably close to $1,000 in that truck now. So Yeah, I was an idiot. Why do that when I could spend $400? And I'm going to tell you, I am just ecstatic over that FCX10. Ecstatic. Now that I've got it all tweaked and tuned, I love that truck. All the doodads that I thought were ridiculous, I think now are fabulous. Now that I know how to trim things on it, I've got knobs and buttons, my favorite thing in the world. You know, I can't stand some of these all digital radios where I got to try to scroll the knob and select, and that's ridiculous. The Atlas, which I spent very little money on because I fixed the electronics with my finger. I have worked around the 1040 ESC because I know what to expect when I drive it. The Michigan, which the new video that I will make for it will explain and thank Troca RC for sending it my way. That is going to be a different animal than most people do. I'm going to treat that just like it was my real 1-to-1. It's not, because mine's a CJ7, but I'm going to treat that just like a weekend warrior. I am going to put a new speed control in it that I happen to have already laying on the shelf, and it's only going to be a 1060. I'm going to throw that in it. I'm going to throw some tires. I'm going to completely rip the body off and detail it. So hopefully, which I'll explain it in the video. Let's get off the Michigan. God, I love it. But these are for people. Let's go to this Atlas 6x6. I bought that because it was toted as a 118 scale. And I have 2 other 118 scales, and I wanted to run them all together. That truck is a lie. The Atlas 6x6 118 scale is not a 118 scale. It is my nemesis. That is basically all 124. They put a bigger body on it and a big cage on the back to make it appear to be bigger. So this is the only Rock Hobbies FMS that I'm not particularly fond of. You know, I was wanting to run it with my 118 scales. I got a Easy RC FJ Cruiser, and I've got a Traxxas TRM, I think that's what they're called, 4. So now I still just down to 2. I don't have somebody to run it with because the scales are just off. That is a 124 scale, and I can run it with my axial Chevy truck and my axial dead, what are they, dead, the dead thing? I think, no, it's not a dead thing. Maybe it is. But moving on. The Kubelwagen is just like the American M3 Willys Jeep, and they've got the people's car, they've got a command car, excellent scale. It's not that cold outside, heater. So that is for, if you're a military enthusiast, that thing is excellent. I've had a lot of fun driving it around, and I still owe you guys a drive video so you can see it out driving around. The Atlas 6x6, not so much excitement. We saw the build video on the Atlas. That is for if you want to buy your kid or your friend who doesn't have a lot of experience with RC, that is a perfect vehicle. He's not going to know that there's anything screwy with it because he's new. It's got decent knockoff tires on it. You know, And the shocks that it comes with are garbage, but they're not as garbage on the Michigan. But that is an excellent starter rig. And for $300, you can throw some shock hoops on it, some new shocks, some different wheels and tires if you want to, and boom, what are you out? Another $100 or so. You know, because they're actual beadlock wheels, which, come on, FCX 10, why do you got glue-on ones? They're beautiful wheels, but the tires leave a little bit to be desired. And for some reason, it just looks cattywampus. Let's see. Is the shock screwy on it? Might be a little stiff. It got a little mud action yesterday. But you've got straight beginners, military lovers, 24 scale lovers, actual scale detailed perfection lovers, and performance lovers. I think that FMS is learning. And that to me is the most important thing. Now, there's nothing sitting on the table that I can't go out and enjoy. I'm not a RC critic every time I take something out. Because now in this shop, except for the Michigan, my TRX4 tracks. Let me look around and see if I got any more presents. Yeah. So there's exactly nothing else except for those two vehicles that I didn't buy myself. And I bought them because I wanted them. And the ones that I built, here we go, let's see, doing it up, TRX4. I always keep saying it, Traxxas, where's my build money? 2 years before you came out with the high lift. There you go, I built that TRX4, but of course it's a sport, so it just has lock diffs. And guess what? That was good for me for years with my axials, which 1, 2, 3. Wait, how many more axials do I have? I should have more than 3. 4, 5. I'm just going around counting. 6. 6 axials. The OG, what is it, 2 or 3 2s, and then the SCX 10-3. All of those have lock diffs. Didn't need any doodads. That's all I need are lock diffs. And that's why I built a sport instead of that guy there who's got all the doodads. I think FMS is learning. And the Michigan, maybe a different motor, different speed control. The radio's fairly decent. You don't need to change a lot on it. And here we go again. You can't really tell, but those where I'm pointing are not the stock tires. I'm trying things out. And I'll explain those in that video, which once again, thanking Troca RC. I'm going to have a link because I'm saying it like it's spelled, Troca RC. But that, I wanted that truck and I wanted it. And it's funny that I see you can order it now in the States and it comes with a different front end on it. And I don't know if that is already pre-put on it, but it is ridiculous. Once again, Chevy was smart. Why is Chevy and Ford and Toyota and Land Rover the only ones smart enough to obviously make their licensing cheaper or fairly cheap? I don't know how they charge things, but Why do we see those four companies have licensed vehicles everywhere? But meanwhile, the only license for Dodge, Jeep, is Axial. They seem to be the only one who have it. And do they not realize that even though you don't make that anymore, if you are selling to Axial, the licensing, I guess they're the only ones who can afford it. Do you not think that if you make your licensing more inexpensive, maybe, I don't know, I'm winging it, allegedly, more companies would have it, and if you have a Michigan-style Jeep body of their most current Jeep, do you not think if somebody bought it because they like the looks of the Jeep and now they have an RC one that they're running around and they're looking at all the time, do you not think that maybe that person might say, I really like the looks of this Jeep, I need one in the driveway? That is free advertisement. You don't have to spend a fortune. You know, I see that there's Dodge cars all over the place now. What is the deal with a vehicle that you don't even make anymore? Somebody needs to take the Michigan and throw it down on somebody's desk and say, oh my dear sweet baby Jesus, look at this truck, look at the scale, look at the detail. This thing looks fabulous. Why don't we give them a call? Let's offer them a deal. Same thing you could do with the Atlas. They made a beautiful body of a Dodge. Yes, it's true. Dodge just makes a bunch of girly looking trucks nowadays. But boom, if they're going to use the Atlas, maybe they can take one of their new modern, this is a Power Wagon. Of course, the Power Wagon doesn't look anything special nowadays, except for a big sticker on the bed. But, boom, give them some cheap Dodge licensing and get your product out there. I know damn well these Chevys, they're being bought by diehard Chevy guys. When I was in high school, I had a friggin' square body. We drove them around. They were all rusted out. They were a dime a dozen. In the 80s, you can get a 70s square body for $500 that drove. Come on. Let me see. What else? They are creating a market. FMS is creating a name. The FCX10 is hugely popular right now. I don't care who you are. And if you're an FMS hater, guess what? Sucks to be you. Because they are not pulling their punches now. Now they have official licensing. They are going to be releasing more. Their 124s and 18 scales are going crazy right now. Guess what, FMS haters? The writing is on the wall. This is a manufacturer who is learning from the products they put out on the market. Any day now, with the success of the FCX 10, I'm thinking we might see a new improved Atlas. I really want to get the FJ40 too. Everybody says it's huge, so I hope it's more in scale with the Michigan, because they would look great together. They've got some weirdness on the chassis. People have been talking about the engine setup, which, it is a little screwy. I've never seen, a drive shaft coming off of the engine before, but, hey. So that's a little bit of a rant and an FMS from an FMS new fanboy, I guess. If you don't like it, I apologize. Not really. Because what's sitting on this table right now, every one of them is dirty. Every one of them I had fun with. And what's even creepier is thanks to having kids, I got a driver for my Michigan. And he doesn't look pleased. So you don't want to make him mad. And on that note, leave some comments below. If you hate FMS, let me know about it. We can still be friends. And I will talk to you on the next one.